Today we are going to be finding the slope and y-intercept. To find the slope, we will have to find 2 points anywhere on the line, count the rise, which is the units of the points, depending if you're going up or down, and then determine if they are the rise or the run. The rise would be your y value, and the run is your x value. And if possible, if your m value, your m variable ending result is a fraction, you can simplify it. But if it's a fraction and you can't simplify it, if you can't, then of course just leave it as that. Next. So we're going to be showing you a video. Ivy, you're on mute.
What I'm going to do is show you guys how to find the slope between 2 points. When we're trying to find the slope, there's a lot of different ways that we like to describe slope. One of the most common ones is slope is rise over run. And what we mean by rise and run is how much between 2 points, how far, what is the distance that your graph or your change in elevation has risen, and how far has it gone left or right. So we need to go ahead and define that distance. We need to find the change. So let's go and look. Slope, very commonly referred to as rise over run. And what does that really mean? What is really the rise or run? Well, what that really is the change you can write as delta y over delta x. And what this means is the change in y over the change in x. Well, that's kind of craziness. Why? Give me a better thing. Give me a better way to write that. All right. Well, if we have 2 points, we can label. If we have 2 points, we can label our points x1, y1, and y1, x1, y1, and x2, y2. So I'm going to look at these 2 points, and I'm going to go ahead and label them. It doesn't matter how you want to label them, which one's are x1 and which one's x2, but I'm going to say this one will be x1, this one's y2, y1. This one is x2, and this one is y2. Okay? So, because you remember on a coordinate point, you have your x and your y, your x and your y. However, you can't both label these x, y, so we use subscripts to differentiate between the 2 points. All right? So now if I know that my slope is the change in y over the change in x, all I'm going to do now is just like we learned before. Now we're just going to evaluate and plug in our values into our equation for slope. All right? So I just take my y2, which is a -8, minus y1, which is 4, all over x2, which is 3, minus, I'm going to put in parentheses, a -1. Remember, I'm going to keep those parentheses just to make sure that I'm not making any mistakes with my negatives. So -8 minus 4 is become a -12, and 3 minus a -1. These are going to, the 2 negatives are going to cancel each other out, and it's going to become a positive 4. -12 divided by 4 now becomes a -3. So therefore, our slope is a -3. And a lot of times, just to let you guys know, a lot of times when you're graphing like a -3, you need to say, oh, well, it's not a rise or a run. What's the rise or run? Well, remember, we can always keep that. Whenever you need to change a whole number, if your whole number is your slope, and you always need to have it in a fractional form, just remember, you can always put it over 1, guys. That's your fractional form, but it means the exact same value. All right? So that's how you find slope between 2 points.
And here I already did the example, I've written it out. So we have our 2 y values, in which I made a mistake. This should be -16. This should be -19. So this m value is wrong. So how we would do this is that we take our 2 y values, which is our -15 and our -16, and you would combine those together. So it would be negative 31, and then you would combine your x values, which is your negative 7 and 19. Which would be negative 7, because this is your x2, and then your 19, which is a positive, and it will look like that. And then you subtract 7 from 19, which will give you 12, and your ending m, which, ignore this, would be m equals to negative 31 over 12. Yeah, that would be your m value, and you can't exactly write it like this, as it does say to find the slope. You should also write an equation, which would be mx plus b, and because we find m, that would be your entire equation. And now I am going to hands-on write it, this example. This is your x1, this is your y1, this is your x2, this is your y2, and you would write it with this formula. So m. Now this rise over 1 is only if you have like a graph, so you're only really just using this part. So y2 is 16, and take away 8, because that's our y1. And then we write out x2, which is 9. Then we take away 20. So 16 take away 8 would equal to 8. And 9 take away 20 would equal to negative 11. And that would be our m value, also known as our slope. And this is what it will look like in an equation. Since we found our slope, we replace the m, and y equals mx plus b. And now this is your turn. Pause the video to give it a try. Yeah. And now we are going to find the y value with the given m value.
So now that you know how to solve for m, which is the slope, you would substitute any of the coordinates that are given into the equation y equals mx plus b, and your slope would be put here in m. So this video is to help you.
The following line passes through the point 5, 8, and the equation of the line is y is equal to 17/13 x plus b. What is the value of the y-intercept b? So we know that this point, this x and y value must satisfy this equation. So we know that when x is equal to 5, y is equal to 8. So we can say, so when x is equal to 5, y is equal to 8. So we could say 8 must be equal to 17/13 times x times 5 plus b, and then we can solve for b. So this, if we simplify this a little bit, we get 8 is equal to, 5 times 17 is 50 plus 35 is 85, is 85/13 plus b. Then to solve for b, we just subtract 85/13 from both sides. So we have 8 minus 85/13. 85/13 is equal to b. And now we just have to add these two, or subtract these two numbers. So 8 is the same thing as, let's see, 80 plus 24 is 104. So it is 104/13. This is the same thing as 8 minus 85/13. which is going to be, let's see, this is 19 over 13. Is that right? Yes, this is 105, then it would be 20 over 13. So this is 19 over 13. So it's equal to 19 over 13, which is equal to b. So the equation of this line is going to be y is equal to 17/13 x plus 19 over 13.
Okay, so using what we just learned from the video, we're gonna solve this one together. So they already give you the y value, which is equal to, oh, oops, sorry. So they already give us 2 coordinates. So we use those coordinates to find what m equals to, and we can choose either one to fill in for the y equals mx plus b formula. So let's just write that here. So first, we could choose either one. I'm going to use 3, 8. So plug in 8 for the y value equals to m, which they already stated, 9. And for the x value, it's 3 for that coordinate, plus b. So we have 9 times 3 first, which gives you 27 plus b. Then you subtract 27 on both sides in order to isolate for the value of b that we want. So that would give us b equals negative 19. So the whole equation would be y equals 9, because you keep the slope, x minus 19 for the b. So this would be your equation. We will do the same one for this. They give us the slope, which is m equals negative 3. They give us 2 points, which we use to find out what the slope was. So we can choose either one to use. So I'll write the equation. I'll write the equation down again. Y equals mx plus b. So for this, I'm just going to use negative 2, 6. So 6 will be the y value, equals to the m, which is negative 3. X value would be negative 2 plus b. So negative 3 times negative 2 would give you positive 6 plus b. And you want to isolate b, so you would subtract 6 on both sides. And that would give you 0 equals to b. So your final equation would be y equals m, which is negative 3, x. And since it's 0, you don't have to add plus 0 because you already know that's just equal to nothing. So this would be your final equation. And here you can pause the video to try it out for yourself. We can post the answer key later on. So pause the video and try it. You can contact us if you have questions on finding the y, well, the b value, or finding the slope. So in summary, today we learned how to solve for the slope, which is otherwise known as m. And then, sorry, a little mistake. We also learned how to use y equals mx plus b to solve for b by just plugging in the coordinates as x and y, and you solve for m already from the first step, and then you just isolate b by itself to find out for b. So that's all we have for today's class. You You can us in our emails, ivyzang246@gmail.com and caitlinlee0104@gmail.com. Yeah, that's all we have for today.
Bye.
Bye.